Welcome to the Bass and Brews podcast, your weekly distraction from other high-quality podcasts. And now, your host, Alex from Swamp Rat Fishing, and the co-hostess with the mostest, the Jabberhammer, Paul Roberts.
What is up, everybody? Hey, it's Friday. You know what time it is? It's Bass and Brews time. Or, it's whatever day you're listening to it as. Before we go any further, I'm going to hit us, right away. Somebody reached out to me with an express message. This comes from Drew Turner. There has been breaking news in the kayak industry, and that is that KFL is going under. And Drew figured it out. This dude's a master detective and journalist. He also figured out that Paul was actually on one of these KFL teams. So not only does Paul hate the troops, he also sunk KFL. So congrats.
It's a double whammy.
Holy
man.
Shit.
Well, when you suck at fishing, sometimes it just rubs off on everybody.
It seems like you rubbed off on a whole league, which is probably illegal in very many states.
Yes,
From what I understand, being bad at fishing is also in line with being financially irresponsible.
Very true.
Sometimes. Sometimes it depends. It depends. I actually, in the fishing part, no, because I know good and damn well I ain't gonna catch them, with a $1 lure. So I damn sure ain't buying a $250 one.
Shit, dude, we have different outlooks on it. Then it's like, man, if I just spent $7 more on a frog, I might have caught something today.
See, no, I don't do that. I look at it this way: if they gonna buy $30 jerk bait, they gonna buy the H2O Express $6.96 jerk bait.
People sleep on those H2Os, man. That's a solid lure. I do not sleep on those frogs anymore.
Those, I throw those a ton because we got a ton of brush piles around here. And so I don't care if I lose one of those. And when we get around brush piles, I got a tackle box half full of H2Os because that's what I like to throw around those brush piles. And I'm not.
I was about to say, you don't want to be throwing a Mega Bass Vision around that and losing fucking $25 off the get-go.
Shit, man, you need an extra mortgage to be able to buy half of those frog lures these days. I know Spro, you can't get a frog for like under what, $11 now?
Yeah,
$12. Scum frogs for life. Scum frog dedicated user right here. It's all I use in the frog world anymore. Best hooks on the market for me. Super weedless. I don't know if you guys have fished scum frogs, especially the Bigfoots or the Bigfoot Juniors.
I haven't.
Probably if you ever watched a wild bullfrog or a wild green frog or anything like that swim on top of the water, they'll often do that like heavy flutter kick motion. So I feel like walking is almost a less natural or less attractive motion as far as walking a frog goes than the scum frogs, because they come with paddle feet, and those paddle feet don't do like too much action and they don't do too little. Like they're noticeable in wind, but it's not like you're throwing a whopper popper, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
I bet you could take every frog on the market and cut every appendage off of it and it would still catch fish just as good.
Have you seen the video of the guy catching he just cut a block of a 1x1 piece of lumber and put treble hooks in it?
I've seen people catch them on a stick or was it a pencil? Somebody made a pencil, put some treble hooks on it.
Yep.
That's all you
gotta
do.
iPhone. Yeah.
Look, fish are savages. All they do, they want to eat, fucking survive. And
don't we all? Well, before we get too farther, if you guys don't know, this is our guest, Clay Coleman. Clay, how are you, buddy?
I'm fantastic.
I love that you jumped right into it. You were like, fucking intro. We're just heading right into it.
I don't shut up half the time.
Perfect.
Oh,
I'm fresh off of wine cooler and some coffee. So
Alex is screwed tonight. He has no chance. We're gonna wreck this podcast, Clay.
Hell yeah, that's what the fuck I'm talking about.
Well, before we get too started, this is gonna come out Friday. We'll just plug look out for Tuesday. Next Tuesday, that's Valentine's Day. We're gonna have the first episode of 2023 of the Queen City Chronicles, where we where we sit down with some of the Queen City kayak bass fishing trail anglers, and we interview them after every event they have this year. And this one's kind of special because it's not just the winner. We definitely want to have somebody at the top, but like we have somebody who also got ninth. And the stories were good. They're a lot shorter than these ones, so make sure you guys check it out. That will be on Tuesday. So it's usually, I think, what, Paul, like once a month we're going to be doing that?
Yes, it's going to be once a month, and it's a good time for me and Alex to learn some fishing because we have anglers on that actually catch fish.
Yeah,
not this week. You don't.
I think this is the first time we almost had to get a parental consent form because the guy who has second place, Jackson, just confirmed he's 11 years old. He was crushing beers with us. No, I'm just joking. He's a 20-year-old kid, but this is the first time anybody's recorded an episode out of a dorm. So
yes,
definitely stay tuned.
And if you watched and you didn't know better, you would either think it was a dorm or a jail cell.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess dorm room is kind of like a cell.
So Paul, give your favorite your tagline for Clay. Go ahead. Let's hear it.
Clay, welcome to the podcast. Tell us who you are, what you do, and who your daddy is.
Oh, is that what we're changing it to now?
No, man. I was trying to think of the Arnold Schwarzenegger kindergarten cop.
Who's your daddy? What does he do?
Who's your daddy? Yeah, so I'm Clay.
Eating all the lunch.
It's not a tumor.
Clay, what's the journey that's brought you here today in front of Alex and me on Bass and Brews podcast?
Yeah, man. So I'm Clay. For anybody who's tuning into this one,
who hadn't listened to the first 7 minutes.
Yeah,
You've only about 3 times now.
I've grown up in South Carolina. I have been outdoorsy-ish all my life. Seize up. Not to get political.
Hey, where's South Carolina?
I live up in Greenville, right outside of Greenville and Taylor's.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully nobody tracks my IP or something.
Born and raised.
Where at?
MacB.
MacB.
Near Hartsville, Florence.
Oh yeah, man. I'm from Sumter, so not super far away from there.
You should have known where the hell MacB was. I'm right up the road.
Listen, man, there's so many tiny little intro towns to every single place in South Carolina. It's like you go to Sumter and you better know where Alkaloo and Remini and Pinewood and all these other ridiculous towns are that are just like, hey, we're in Remini. And you're like, where's Remini? And you're like, oh, this field right here. This is Remini.
This intersection is Remini, and a quarter mile out. Now we're not even in a place. We're just in the county.
Like, welcome to Paxville. It's a gas station. It's an El Cheapo on the side of the road. That's how it feels. But I've been doing content stuff online since probably like 2015. I'm not sure if you guys have ever seen a fishing video game called Fishing Planet.
Yeah.
That was like my claim to fame on YouTube for a little while. I did a bunch of videos on that, but I've been outdoorsy my whole life. I'm in the Army National Guard. I'm a full-time technician. I do helicopter stuff on Chinook helicopters, and I love making people very angry on TikTok. It's a lot of fun.
I think you were one of the first when we started to dive in. I think I saw your videos first, and it was like the what your boat says about you as an angler. Yeah. And I was like, man, this guy's letting it fly. I absolutely love it.
People were so angry, especially the Skeeter boat owners.
Yes.
The Skeeter and who else was it? Oh, golly, I'm forgetting now. Maybe it was like Bass Cat or something, but somebody with one of the higher up bass boat brands, those guys got so fucking mad at me. And people still like I did a deer video, like ridiculous deer hunting products, and people lost it on me. I mean, probably like 600 or 700 comments of just people being mad that I didn't like something.
It's the best. I don't understand it. After we did the unpopular opinions in fishing, we took a little break. because I don't understand how fucking pissed all these people got. Like, I was like, are you kidding me?
Your video where you said I like eating bass or bass tastes good.
No, I said the best caviar from largemouth bass that weigh 7 pounds or more.
That's what it was. I was like, holy shit, I love this. This is my favorite thing right now.
It's so yeah. We did a really good controversial January, and we're settling down a little bit for February, just to really amp it up for Get Mean March. So everybody beware.
That's a theme I'm down with.
That's all
Making
Alex.
Mad on
that's
the
all
internet,
Alex.
internet.
Yeah, that's all Alex on our TikTok though. I just put up stupid comments. That's how I provide.
That's why I pay you the big bucks, Paul.
Hell yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah. That compliments must be worth a lot of money somewhere.
That's a PayPal that you don't have to log into yet, huh?
All right. So have you always kind of centered on bass?
I've been very multi-species. You know, like a lot of people, I grew up brim fishing. I got really big into catfishing for probably like 4 or 5 years, and then I started getting into the KBF leagues and started competing in those a couple years ago, and just doing like state tournaments and stuff like that. And I would say now I'm a lot more focused on bass. Like I bought a bass boat and joined the club of people that I make angry.
Right.
And now I would say, I'm a lot more bass focused just because of I like the competition aspect of it. And I like trying to go out and compete, and I'm fishing a couple of the MLF opens this year. Or at least I'm planning to. I hope I get to do those up here at Hartwell and Wateree and stuff like that.
That'll be the perfect time to get TDY orders. That's the perfect time to get orders overseas. Deployment right there.
Yeah, it's like, oh, dude, you're going to the flight instructor school, so can't do it.
I always find it funny when somebody from the South, excluding Floridians, say they're multi-species angler. Because when I hear somebody say multi-species, right away I'm like, oh, they from the north. Because multi-species down here is brim, bass, catfish, and crappie. Like, I mean,
dude, I'm big on garfish too.
But you gotta shoot those. You ain't really catching them that well.
No, man, no. You just need a good rope lure, is what you need.
Okay, a rope lure.
A good piece of white rope.
Hey, do you eat them?
You need some like tin snips, like you're cutting sheet metal to get the skin off of them. But once you get it off, man, it's like eating lobster.
No,
it's so good. I know you're gonna doubt me. I swear it is delicious. It is so fucking good.
Gar balls will rival crab cakes from anywhere.
Really?
Yes, it is a fish that I did not expect to taste like that, but it's almost buttery.
No shit.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because of the grease or whatever in them, but yeah, highly recommend.
Speaking of their skin, I've got a guy that back in the day when I was watching a lot of YouTube makes homemade knives, and I bought a couple knives from him that have gar skin sheaths. Pretty neat.
That is crazy. Holy shit. I'm sure that's durable. I mean, it's straight up like armor.
Yeah, I thought that was like a Florida, Texas thing. That's in South Carolina as well.
Everywhere, man. South Carolina, North Carolina. It's the pike of the South.
Jack,
that's what I
cannot believe a person on this podcast in South Carolina just called it a pike.
Hold on. You pike is closer than jackfish because at least the pickerel is a cousin of the pike. Jackfish is some made up name because Jack was your uncle who was also your fucking brother.
I didn't even come up with that. That's been what they've been called since forever.
So
down here, especially where we're from, in the Tannic water areas of South Carolina.
The jackfish and the grass pickerel, which is typically what we end up catching down here, are different fish, believe it or not. The jackfish is much smaller typically, and it's got like, I'm sure you've seen them, Paul, like the red marks and shit on them. That's how you can tell it's not like a regular grass pickerel. It's a jackfish, and it almost resembles. It looks like a pickerel, like fucked a perch.
Is it a redfin pickerel, or is it actually called a jackfish? I gotta look this up now because
I've only ever called them jackfish, and now I have to look it up too.
yeah, this is
any pike, pickerel, anything in that family that swims and lives in the waters down here. If I catch it, it's a jackfish.
so yeah.
Like,
So
not
looking
a
this
pike,
up,
it's not a pickerel, jackfish.
this is So jackfish would account as a grass pike, southern pike, eastern pickerel, chain pickerel, redfin pickerel. Basically, any toothy, long fish you guys call jackfish, while the rest of the world calls them by their fucking names.
Except some fisheries up here, have some big pickerel in them, like big chain pickerel, 3-4 pounds. Yeah. I actually had one break off last summer that was probably, if I had to guess, he was probably 24 inches long. But he snapped off a crankbait on 60-pound braid like nobody's business.
Joe from Cut and Retie, he was on the show, but he's local to me. He just posted a video up, I think like last week, but it was pushing a 5-pound pickerel that he caught with like just a Zoom fluke in 40-degree weather, just working a Zoom fluke, and it came out. I guess he's actually where he caught it from. I know where it's at, but I think he was only in like 7-8 inches of water. Like the whole back of the fish was out because it was a low tide. Yeah, and the thing annihilated it, then took off through the mud. He's got a whole video. It was really gnarly. I love those fish.
Like a barracuda.
That is insane.
What a barracuda.
Yeah. They're gnarly. I love they when I went out in January, because it's been so fucking cold here, I had that day where I was just hammering them, and it was such a good day. They're such good fish. Very underrated.
Also good eating.
They are. We've talked about it, but yeah, there's a place down here where you can get pickerel balls, and they are delicious.
Hey, man, if it swims or it's got 4 legs and it's not a table, you can eat it for sure.
Right.
Yeah, I think it comes down to if you should eat it, but
ain't nothing like some good smoked raccoon, man. Some pulled raccoon sandwiches.
I don't think I've ever had fucking raccoon.
Hash it out. I love it hashed.
Really? I don't think I've ever had it hashed.
Wait, are we having a real conversation? Both you guys have eaten fucking raccoon? Both you guys have eaten raccoon like it's a normal thing?
I've had crow pie.
Raccoon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever eaten crow? Clay, you eaten crow?
Crow is actually pretty good. It's
a big dove. It's just a
huge
piece of meat that's like a dove.
Yeah, it's almost like a chicken. It's like eating a red meat chicken. What the fuck is
wrong with you two? What is wrong with you?
What's wrong with you, man? You're missing out on some delicacies.
I know.
Fucking crow. Okay, like I've eaten some weird shit, but not like.
What's the weirdest thing you've eaten?
I've had stateside. It's porcupine.
Okay. That's understandable. I've seen that.
So that was delicious. Overseas though, like I had coyote, which I'm pretty sure was just dog.
Yeah,
well, it is, but
yeah. I've had quote unquote jungle cat, and I'm pretty sure that was just domestic cat. Shout out to
it wasn't. I'd be surprised.
Yeah. Shout out to Southern Mexico. I've eaten like some bugs and shit like that, But
what kind of bug? Are we talking crickets or are we talking like
I've had crickets, beetles, scorpions, beetles, full grubs, like not even like I've had the cooked grubs, which are actually really good, like if they're cooked up right, like in a wok with soy sauce, all that other good stuff. But I've had like a raw grub as well.
And we're weird for eating raccoons and crows.
Exactly.
You're over here eating like a fucking anteater. And,
I had to travel to get that. You guys are just going in your backyard, throwing out bait, which is just a KFC bucket tipped over.
It's all about the golden nuggets. It's all about golden nuggets, man. You got to get that corn pile. It's got to get a little bit of mold in it. That's how you get them just right. That's how you get the fat raccoons.
You got
skinny ones will eat the fresh shit. That's right.
Yeah, you gotta get a little bit of start fermenting just a little bit. Put some water in it. Get a little moldy. Get that sweet smell of deliciousness.
Everything. If you want to go ham, corn pile, maple syrup all over the top of it. That's how you get.
You're doing all this work to catch a raccoon to eat.
All this work. I walked 40 feet that way. I dump a bag of corn out and some maple syrup, man. I'm set. They do the work for me.
I feel like we've already derailed. I'm blown away that you guys put in this much work to catch a raccoon to eat.
They're delicious. They're super good. It's like pulled pork, just a little red meteor. Yeah.
What if it has rabies?
Well, they wouldn't eat corn then.
Cook it out.
They don't eat. Did you say you'd cook it out? I don't think you can cook out the rabies.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe this explains why you guys can't figure out what to call a fish or to talk properly. You guys all have mild rabies.
Damn, he's gonna fire shots at us like that with one trophy in the background. One trophy, and he's gonna talk to us like that.
Yeah, but you know what? That trophy's not for raccoon eating. Listen, Clay, I see no trophies in your background. I see an old keyboard. So unless you're Stevie
Is there an old keyboard back there?
Yeah, there is.
Oh yeah,
like a keyboard, like a piano keyboard. I was looking for like a computer keyboard.
This is the kids' playroom.
He's in the kids' room.
Yeah, I do have a horn though. I got a drinking horn here. That's pretty tight.
Skull.
My name on it and shit.
The kids are using the drinking horn.
She might. She's gonna grow up properly. I mean, fucking come on, camera. I got a patch wall. That's cool.
There you go. He's like, I gotta justify now. God damn.
I got something. God damn it! Don't. I'm bona fide.
I love how Alex saw the keyboard and called that out. I didn't even see it.
I'm gonna hide it behind my head now. Fuck you.
Well, no, we can see right through you. I mean, Clay, we can barely see you with the camouflage.
No, that's accurate. No, I deserve that joke. Yeah. That's a shot fired that hit target. Yeah.
All right. So you said you did some KBL stuff. I didn't know you did, or KBF stuff. I didn't know you did kayak fishing as well. I think all the stuff I've seen from you has been boat stuff. What do you run for a kayak?
So I have there's a company called Green Top Enterprises out of North Carolina that sells these boats called creek boats. For anybody who isn't educated on them, if you've ever seen a Warrior one-man boat, they're super similar to those, which are made and sold in Summerton, South Carolina. The creek boats are made in Albemarle, which is a really L-heavy word. Up in North Carolina, raccoon brand. Yeah, it's the fucking rabies getting to me. But they're motor operated off of a digital rheostat, but they are foot steered. Wow. So you have foot pedals that are attached to a cable system that steers the motor, but the motor is not in the center, like in something like an Old Town. Mm-hmm. It's actually on the back, kind of like a Torpedo, but it's just a regular, like Minn Kota 55-pound motor. But it does have a live well on it, which is one of the reasons I bought it. Is it has a live well.
What's the name of that company again? Creek
Boats. The model I have is the M10.
That's crazy. That's yeah. I think I've seen like some DIY stuff where people have tried to do that, but I haven't seen like someone like fully manufacture or like the foot pedals are going to be rocking it.
If you want to see the three really cool companies that make them are Cayman Boats, Creek Boats, and Warrior one-man boats. And those are actually all out of South and North Carolina. And they're the only three that I know of on the market since Sneak Boat, the original company, went out of business a while back. They're the only three companies I know of that make a boat like kind of modeled after that.
Yeah, the foot pedals. There's still folks that'll put the foot pedal cable drive system, steer systems on their kayaks too.
Oh yeah,
I can't. That's too much coordination.
You gotta be.
I better throw my big ass off the damn kayak. I get too excited, man. I get too excited, too much ADHD. I mean, there's too much shit going on, and then I hit the pedal, and there I go swimming.
Yeah, I have actually ran my boat onto the bank a couple times because I'll typically like set my rheostat to a trolling speed, especially if I'm flipping, and I'll just like point it down a bank, and I'll stand up in the boat, but I'll if I need to readjust like the direction, I'll reach down and push the foot pedal with my hand. And I've hooked a fish and then been like getting it in the boat or fighting it and look up and like, oh shit, trees. There's a lot of trees in front of me. And I'm going to see what they look like very personally here shortly. And then I end up playing fucking Jeff Corwin like it's a fucking Discovery Channel episode, and I'm fighting in a goddamn willow branch for a little while.
I feel like the worst is when they sneak up behind you, like when you're getting a fish, right? And like the worst is when like your shit's like hooked into the net still, right? Like if you're using a net and it's like you got the trebles and it's hooked through the fish and the net, and you're fighting with that. So you're so focused on that. And then you can just hear the branches hitting all your rods, and you're like, fuck. Like, this is going to take 20 minutes to get out of this fucking thing without throwing everything in the water. It's the fucking worst.
My biggest concern is always like, oh man, this mojo bass is going to be splintered because of this fucking tree, because I'm going backwards way faster than I thought.
Yeah.
I'm like, this $200 rod that I stupidly spent my money on is going to be shattered because I caught a fish on this fucking $30 rod.
Or it's going to get hooked and yanked out of the kayak and be dangling above the water and the tree.
It'd be like a shitty pinata for a fisherman. So are you a net person in your kayak, Alex?
Okay, so I have yes, all of it. So like I try to bring one. I actually have to buy one. Of the like 5 times that I got out last year, I lost my fucking net on camera catching a fish. Like the fish went through, it already had a fucking hole in the net. And the fish, as I went to, I netted the fish and I go to lift them up, and that fuck fish found its way through the hole. So now I've got like the line here, the net sitting on the line, the fish still in the water. It was such a fucking clusterfuck. And Paul, the asshole, used that as use that whole video to roast on his YouTube channel, which is pretty fucking solid. But yeah,
that's excellent.
It was like after that, I hooked one, I lost it. I feel like I should use a net more to secure the fish, because especially if anybody looked at my my last pickerel video when I tried to boat flick a pretty big chain pickerel, and I just hit myself in the face with the pickerel, and then it snapped off. So yeah, I'm not the most coordinated, so I feel like I should use a net, but then they just get in my fucking way. Like, they get so annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, he's only
boat
catching
flipping's
like
the way, man.
He's only catching 2-pound bass, so it's not like he's going to lose anything. You know.
Hey Paul, how many bass have you caught in 2023?
Not a nary one. I ain't even been on
not
the water to catch one. So it
fucking
doesn't count yet.
One. Oh no,
it
still
fishing,
counts.
so it doesn't count yet. No, not a bit. Not a bit. Doesn't count
I haven't
yet.
caught one either, man. I haven't been fishing in 2023 either.
You guys got great weather down there.
I have an excuse. I have an excuse. For the first 3 weeks of January, I was at an Army school. I was a basic leadership course. So I was out of pocket for those 3 weeks. And
you could have fished on base.
No, I couldn't have. I wasn't allowed to go like a certain distance away from the barracks.
Yeah, that base didn't have a pond. Like, there's a whole, what's their name? Thruman Outdoors. Like, they made a whole online career fishing on a base.
I will tell you the base I was on, and I will tell you what you have to go through to get to one of the ponds that is on that base. Because you can deer hunt on this base, but it is a National Guard training base. It is called McCready Training Facility in Eastover, South Carolina. It is attached to the backside of Fort Jackson. If you want to go to one of the ponds that is on this base, you have got about 5 miles of red clay dirt tank trails, because there's a tanker unit out there, to trudge through. And then you have to walk, 200 yards through the forest to get to one of those ponds. Meanwhile, it's, 24 degrees outside.
Yeah, cold as shit. All right.
That
seems like a good
There's
excuse.
no fish in there. There's no fish in there.
There we go.
There's like some green sunfish in there.
I went to my MOS school was in Petaluma, California, right? And it was out in the middle of nowhere. It's like by the Bay Area, but it's probably about an hour and a half from San Fran. It's out in the middle of nowhere. It's out by Napa Valley. And there was always like this big hole. And I mean, it went like 8 feet. It was just a hole. It used to be a pond like way back in the day. And Coast Guard's had that base, I think, since like the 1890s. Like, they've had that property a long time. And it wasn't until like I left there.
It's a long time.
It's a really long time. Yeah. And it wasn't until after I got done with MOS school that they decided to fill it and stock it, but stock it with fish that they specifically got from the state of California, from like Crystal Lake and the Delta. So there's some kid he was like, "Oh, you like fishing, petty officer? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And he goes, oh, I done a little bit too. And I'm like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, I did it in A school. What's your PB? And I tell him, and he's like, oh, that's cool. I got a 12-pounder on a Tuesday. And I'm like, go fuck yourself, kid. Like, because they're literally, it's full of double digits in there.
No shit. It's like a trophy pond on base.
Yes, and it's full. They when they first put everything in there, they gated the whole thing off so nobody could use it.
Oh shit.
So it just got to do it on its own, and it was like 4 years ago where they finally opened it, but it's only active duty or retired coasties who can fish it. And it's like this farm pond full of biggins, like constant double digits being pulled out of there. And he was just
it's like that.
Yeah, fishing. I never did it. And then these guys caught some fish, so I decided to do it. And it's really not that hard. Like, go fuck yourself, kid.
And he went out there with one of those grub kits from the PX. I guarantee it, with like the little plastic float and everything.
Yes. Well, he showed me. He's like, I took a picture. I took a picture of my lure, and it was an EWG hook, and it was a worm. It looked like a yum dinger. And then he hooked it like you would a real worm. As in, he went through the side, crumpled it up, went through the side, crumpled it up. Like, I was like, there's no way. And I thought the kid was trolling me. And he just kept bringing it up. He goes, I watched some of your videos because they knew I was making YouTube videos. And he says, your fish are so small. Did you want me to show you? And I thought this little 19-year-old was trolling me. I was like, I don't like to get into like the old grumpy guard. And I was about ready to snap on this kid. And everybody's like, no,
dude,
he's just
going to eradicate your jugular. Shut up. Stop talking.
But yeah, giants. But yeah,
that's like the outdoors. Old.
They've made a whole content schedule of them just fishing some army base in Oklahoma. It's amazing.
Is it so? I think there's only one army base in Oklahoma, Fort Sill.
I think that. I don't know where they're at.
Yeah, but that's like where I went to basic training. Yeah,
that's got to be the spot because she. It's a wife, husband combo, and she's a drill instructor. And I don't know what he does. I know he's in the army too, but yeah, all their content, it's them fishing on base and they're just slamming fish left and right. And I'm like, this is bullshit.
I'll tell you what's the most amazing out of that whole story to me is that there's water in Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Because I swear to God, the only water that I ever saw in that entire place was in a water cooler. Or coming out of my shower head. Like
that's got to be. So we just had Joey Fitzer on, and he was talking about how great Oklahoma is, and it's but he talked about how it's just two different worlds depending on where you're at.
Southern Oklahoma is butthole. It's absolutely awful. Lawton, and I was in the Air Force for 2 years, and I went to Shepherd Air Force Base for my tech school, which is like 45 minutes south of Fort Sill. So 15 minutes and 37 casinos later, you can get to Southern Oklahoma. Oklahoma does have a huge diversity, though. They have a pretty good mule deer population. Their whitetail and blacktail population is pretty good. They have an elk season, which I didn't know they had elk. They do it a weird way off of a quota. So the whole state has like 50 something elk they can kill, and it's like an online reporting system. So you go on and like report your elk kill as soon as it happens. But every morning when you get up to go elk hunt, you're just like staring at a fucking quota, like making sure that you can still go hunt that day. But they have a really good bass population. I mean, they're right above Texas, especially, a good half of the state is not that far out of northern Texas and still pretty close to Louisiana. So their wildlife diversity is pretty on par. I actually saw not a kid, he was a giant of a man, but he got a deer hit him on a field training exercise out there while we were walking through all this like super tall grass, because Oklahoma doesn't have trees. I don't know if you guys knew that, but we were walking through this big field doing like a field training exercise, doing like movement online and stuff, whatever dumb army shit we were doing. And
dumb army shit.
Yeah. A fucking whitetail, like the wind was blowing really heavy and it was blowing into our faces, and this whitetail didn't hear us, didn't see us, and the grass was probably like 4 foot tall, and it jumped up and like Superman jumped over his head and kicked him in the shoulder. And this dude was probably like 6'4". He was a guy from Texas, from Port Arthur, Texas. His name was Tilden Boudreaux. and it kicked him in the shoulder and scared the dog shit out of him. This is the same guy I saw beat a tarantula to death with an M16. Dude, basic training was nuts. It was a fucking time.
I love that. I love it when stuff like that happens. That's my favorite because listen, our brothers and sisters in arms across all the branches. I know you're gonna hate this, Paul, but I'm gonna talk up our troops a little bit. I know you're not the biggest fan of them, but no, everybody knows I'm joking. Paul loves the troops, but like we are the best, and they're all my brothers and sisters. But man, do we do some dumb shit, and it is, especially when you're in that moment of like. Especially in like a scenario like boot camp or your tech school or MOS school, right? You're still like, you're so isolated. You're in this one little bubble, and it's like shit will happen that you think is the funniest shit. And then when you tell other people, they're like, what's wrong with you? Like,
yeah, they're like, that sounds traumatizing. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it was fucking hilarious.
I remember when I saw a guy from boot camp, I explained to all my friends, I'm like, we did this and this. And they're just like, that's fucking not cool, dude. I'm like, well, what do you mean? And they're like, that's just like, so like we would have like, one, I didn't have a big boot camp class. Like we started with 25 and we ended with 15 shit. And we ended with 15.
Yeah.
Coasty.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they're actually pretty big now. They're like 200-300, but it was just a slow year. But we're all in one shower.
Business wasn't good that year.
No, it wasn't good that year. Like, but we're in one shower. And I'm trying to tell them the game about how there's at one point where you couldn't have regular soap. All you could have was like the hand soap of Dial with the little like plunger thing. That's the only thing they gave you.
Was it Pert? Yeah.
I can't remember the name, but it was like bright yellow. So then we all thought it would be.
Yeah.
So we thought it'd be funny is if we took it while we're in the shower and hit the top of it to try to make it shoot into somebody else's eyes. And we were running around going like, money shot. Yep. And I told my friends and they're like, dude, that's not fucking funny at all. That's weird. And I was like,
you had to be there. Like, I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
I didn't fucking think it was going to happen, but it happened that way.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. I fucking love it.
It's like you were talking about eating weird shit. Obviously while I was in Afghanistan, I had to eat some goat at some point or another. And I didn't think it was going to be.
Goat ain't weird. Goat is delicious.
Not weird.
Goat is delicious.
Pastor. Yeah, El Pastor.
Dude, especially the way this fucking guy cooked it. We were on this trip, and the people I was working for, they paid this dude to bring us food because we were eating like week-old food out of one of those big green Mermite boxes.
Right.
And so I'm standing there, and this guy walks through the gate. He's got 2 goats on a leash, and they're like, "Oh, here's the mess facility. Here's where you should cook." And he's got like a bag of rice on a trailer and a bunch of peppers. And he's like, "Oh, I cook here?" And I'm like, they're like, "Yeah, this is where you cook." And he turns around and takes a knife and stabs this fucking goat in the neck. Like, we're all out there. There's a soccer game going on. People are like smoking. People are eating. And he's just like, "Oh, I cook here." Stab. And just like, bad. Just eviscerates this fucking thing. We're all like, holy fuck.
It's so funny how mine wasn't that bad, but we're in Costa Rica and we're doing one of those excursions up to a waterfall. And it was nice. We're all on horses. We're riding through. And the guy next to me, he's a big old Texas boy. And his horse was struggling. Like this horse had...
Get off my fucking back.
Yeah, because, dude, he was like 6'4", 240 of solid muscle. Like, just this horse was not, tongue out of its mouth. It was done. And we get to it. And we're about ready to climb the waterfall. And he goes over and he tells them, he's like, "Listen, y'all, this horse, he ain't doing so good." And they're like, no, we'll take care of it. It'll be okay. And he's like, "All right, I want another horse."
Here's some turn around, dude.
We turn around. We're like 5 steps later. We hear a gun go off. They shot the horse right then and there. Like just in this creek, just shot the horse. And we're like,
dude, what is their surplus of horses?
Well, we had another
like,
horse.
This one's tired. Bang.
They were done. And all the, like, we got done from the waterfall. We're all kind of boozed up. We just been swimming, all this. And they're like, "We're going to cook you food." And we walk by and the horse is still there. Just this dead horse. And so we have one of the girls with us was a vegan. And so she was not having this dead horse. So they're like, okay, we'll take care of it. And they like cover it up. And then we're like, do you have any food? And they're like, yeah, we'll be right there. And this little lady comes out and she's got like 4 chickens with her and she's just swinging them as she's walking.
Fucking yikes.
Yes, and the vegan starts crying. And I'm going to tell you what, that was the best chicken, rice, and beans I've ever had. It was delicious.
God, I bet it was so tender. Holy
It
fuck.
is so good. But
cooked in waterfall water. Oh my God.
That's basically what she used. It was amazing. But yeah, people have different standards. You know, it's a whole different culture everywhere else. It's some people just let their horses sit in a creek, or, you know, they make sure, like, the goat thing just reminds me of like when you go to like Red Lobster and you can pick out your lobster. I just took it to the next level. Like, which
that
do
one
you want?
Fucking that one. Fuck that guy. Looks like his name's Ted. Fuck that thing.
See, I would pick a fainting one because the guy would have trouble getting in there because the thing would keep dropping every time and he'd miss, right?
Yeah. So
Paul,
what
do
is
you gotta
the
say about that?
I got a good question for Paul.
Sure.
Paul, what is the weirdest out of all the fish species you know? What do you think the weirdest one you'd eat would be? Just like the most odd fish you can think of.
I mean, I don't discriminate against eating anything, so
my man,
I don't know, but I mean, shit, I don't know. Fish is fish. I'd eat any of them. I'd probably be
scared. Have you guys
scared.
Seen an arapaima?
Mm-hmm.
I never know what the hell that is.
Those are the ones they got like they're from the Amazon, right? They got that flat back tail on the thing that almost looks like a beta tail, but like built for killing, basically.
These the Amazonian tiger fish. I want to eat one of those things out of spite.
Yeah, they look
just
gnarly.
like you can't look like that and not get eaten. And the arapaima is like a garfish, but somebody was like, we're gonna give this garfish like testosterone therapy. And just see how fucking big it gets. It's a ridiculous sized.
To answer your question, I'd love to eat a share-lunker from Texas.
A share-lunker?
A share-lunker.
Paul.
He's looking it up. Clay, are you really looking up what a share-lunker is?
Oh, I'm scared to. I don't want to look it up
share-lunker,
Texas. How do you spell share?
It's the word share. Like
S-H-A-R-E.
Oh, okay.
No, not like that share. He went with the other share. Oh, that's going to be the clip that you're going to get tagged in.
Love.
That's the clip you get for TikTok, is you think we're talking about share.
Yeah. Look
share
up share-lunker in Texas. That's what I want to eat. This happening live right now. This is the greatest. This is great. Top 5 moments. Clay has no idea what a share-lunker is.
I mean, at this point, we're just focusing on Clay's got his workstation off to his right. I can see where he does all his editing on his Fisher-Price table.
That is a high-dollar piece of equipment, okay?
Did you look up share-lunker, or do you want me to spoil it for you?
I'm kind of looking at it. I'm trying to. It's a Toyota fishing series.
Oh. Nope, it is all the big giant bass in Texas. It's like the ones that they keep
14-pound bass out of Texas.
Yeah,
dude,
Paul wants 14 to 15.
Such good caviar in them.
You guys are both the worst. I'm about ready to kick both of you off.
I would
and I'll spend the next hour talking to myself.
With some butter, dude. Oh my god.
I would love to try piranha. I would. Speaking of the Amazon, y'all got me on that piranha. You see the videos, those people catching them. You know that's what they're surviving on. I mean, I bet they're delicious.
I just watched somebody today because the kid at home got sick, so it was just me and her hanging around the house, and I watched this guy, and I think he had it out to like a 20-pound piranha he caught in a Florida canal. Like,
holy shit!
The thing had just run rogue for a while, and I think it was either 15 or 20 pounds. But he's got the whole cast to catch on it.
Holy shit! Now I have been Oscar fishing in the Everglades, which is about as close to a piranha as you can get, but that's not really fishing. That's more work.
Yeah.
Than it is fishing. Like my granddad goes down there every year, and I went with him a couple years. And the years that I went, we fished probably like 5.5 hours, and we left with 300 to 350 fish in the cooler.
No.
We don't bring rods with reels down there. It's all cane poles because you don't have time. He fishes with chicken livers now, but we used to fish with crickets, and we'd go buy like 2,500 crickets. Like it ain't no 50
like 30
cage.
pounds.
Yeah, we'd buy a box of like a case of crickets, and man, you would just be working. You had to wear a glove on one hand so the fins wouldn't get you and stuff.
For these Oscars, do they taste good?
Yeah, man, they're delicious. They're so good. And there would be a guy at the landing. I think his name was Juan, that we would go drop these fish off with, and I think he charged like. This dude probably made $1,200 a day skinning fish, but you'd drop them off and he'd be like, 10 cents a fish. And he would rip through those things in like 20 minutes. He'd have them in Ziploc bags back in your cooler.
Totally worth it.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. We'd be like eating butter rolls at Texas Roadhouse and he'd be skinning fish. It was the shit. But
Speaking of
5 hours and you'd have 300 filleted boneless Oscar.
Awesome. Hell yeah.
Speaking of people cleaning fish, those professional fish cleaners, like on TikTok, for whatever reason, I run across those videos where people are cleaning fish live on TikTok. Holy shit, how efficient and good they are at that. I mean, it is amazing to watch, and it's just crazy. It's just mind numbing to sit there and watch, and it never gets old.
And not one Bubba blade between all of them.
None of them. They've got like some dirty, like self-sharpened butter knife from their kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, it looks like they pulled a piece of sheet metal out of a scrap pile. They were like, let's put a handle on this fucking thing. Send it through a workshop.
I thought all those, like, I don't know if you guys have ever done a charter boat, right? Usually you have like some mates on it who will like, cut your fish up. And then I ended up winning the pool this one time, and I had a shit ton of fluke or summer flounder and sea bass, and I gave it to the kid and gave him $40. And I was like, I'm gonna go, drink a shit ton of beer now. Why this kid, dude, that kid butchered my fucking fish. Like when I saw what he left over, I was like, dude, you left like half the meat. And he just looked at me and he goes, sir, I'm 16 years old. I don't know what you want from me.
You only gave him $40, dude. What'd you expect?
Yeah, I know.
I won the pool. It was I think it was like a $400 pool, but I was like, come on, dude,
Alex probably pulled out a wad of cash and flipped through all the like hundreds and 20s and got down to the fives. And that kid
he reached in a backpack and grabbed a fucking Cafe Du Monde coffee can full of coins and was like, it's all yours. Keep the change.
But I that ingrains in me that he just looked at me and he's like, sir, I'm 16. I don't know what you want. I was like, fuck it. You're right, dude. I guess. Like,
I think the closest I've gotten to a somebody cleaning my fish for me, like a shipmate or something like that, is just taking my little brother fishing with me. Mm-hmm. That's probably about as close as I've gotten. Just being like, yeah, you're fucking doing it, man.
I mean, I had it when I was a kid. We went halibut fishing, and it was a requirement because of where we were at. Like, you had to have the boat break down that fish for you, which is a really weird requirement, but it was so you could get all of it. It was like the best thing ever because that was like 100-pound halibut that they cut down to like, I think it was like 60 pounds of meat we had to pack back to Seattle.
Holy shit.
Yeah, there was like zero waste. It was awesome. But
have y'all seen them clean or cut up, butcher those big ass like sunfish, the big ocean sunfish? Have y'all seen them?
People fucking eat those?
You talking about grouper?
No, he's talking about Aurora. They're sunfish. Yeah, look that one
they
up.
Look
Clay.
like a big old brim, but they are
look up saltwater sunfish.
They look like a damn beetle carp.
What in the tit fuck is that thing?
Yeah, dude.
It looks like a turtle that came out wrong.
So they'll pop up all over the East Coast, and working in the search and rescue center, I can count. I think I need 3 hands to count how many times we've had calls for overturned boats out in the middle of the ocean. And we fly the helicopter out, and it's a giant sunfish.
What the fuck? That thing looks like it gives good head, dude. Looking at that mouth. What that mouth do, giant sunfish?
I mean, it probably does, but, it could be a little fishy.
Well, I mean, I got a shower. Some Irish Spring will clear that right up.
some Dial soap. Just pump that thing and that
some
yellow
good
soap.
Unscented pert, dude, and you'll be set. God damn, that's a crazy looking animal.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So people would I worked a call where it was a 747 inbound to Philly, literally called that in because the pilot saw it flying over the ocean. It was 25 miles off of Atlantic City, New Jersey. He called it in and he's like, there's no way that's a fish. I saw it from, he's in a 747.
Yeah, if he was inbound, he was probably at like 1,200 feet or 1,500 feet, something like that.
Yeah, and we rolled up, and it's a giant fucking sunfish. It looks exactly like an overturned boat. Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't think I ever figured it out. What did you do in the Coast Guard?
On land, I was a search and rescue specialist, so I would do all the planning and coordination for search and rescue. We would use, like when you're like an E4, you basically like work the radios, so you're the 911 operator for the ocean. And then as you move up, you eventually move. Like my job was, I didn't work like rescue cases. I worked search cases. So like the initial part where like if somebody says, hey, I'm here and they need somebody out, I didn't do that. It's when somebody said, hey, I'm in trouble. And then we hear nothing else. Then I use a bunch of computer models and we go find them in the middle of the ocean.
Fucking
And then when I was on boats, on ships, I would use those same skills. But instead of like, no matter what, I spent most of my job finding things, whether it was just finding stuff. So when I was on the boat, it's finding drug runners and stuff like that. So
hell yeah, like a dude on top of the sub, that fucking infamous video now.
I keep trying to find the proper way. I don't know if I want him on. So the guy actually driving the small boat, I just got done being stationed with him. Like Brandon Elliott is his name. He was the one actually driving that small boat, like holding it tight to it. Right. And that's actually probably the scarier job than the guy jumping off onto it, because like Elliot had to keep that boat, but that thing's also, so that sub at the same time is trying to scuttle and sink itself.
Sure.
So if you get enough suction, he can take down that whole boat. And it seems like they're going slow, but they are going about 20 plus miles an hour as he's trying to like hold everything together. And they completely broke all the rules. Like we're not supposed to be jumping, like we jump on them, but we're not supposed to be. Super dangerous because a lot of times you'll pop those things open. They'll wait for us to get down and they'll wait for one guy at the bottom and they'll scuttle it and try to take us down with the whole thing.
Just like open their air valves and let all the water in, basically.
Dude, it's huge. They'll basically drop the whole bottom out because honestly, it's better to lose the product, because if they get caught, they're going to go to jail. Their bosses are going to think that they're going to rat at some point, and then
and then they get their fucking
their whole family
dorks, twiddle ducked and whatever funny verbs you want to use. Yeah.
It's gnarly, but he's got a whole story about it. Is like, I want to have him on at some. I haven't figured it out, but because he doesn't fish, and this is obviously a fishing podcast, maybe he should go on entertainingly educational, because he's got a whole whirlwind. Like that happened, and then that got like on the news like almost 2 years later, and then all of a sudden he got wrapped up to where like the Coast Guard's paying him to go to all these balls and these events, and it was really nuts. And then they just dumped him. They said, okay, we're done with you. Get back underway. Get to fucking work. Nobody gives a shit about you anymore.
That's a fun thing with the military is it doesn't matter. Like if you pick up some weird side trait, like you're a fitness expert, like the Marine Corps pays this one guy and the Army pays this one guy who are like these fitness masters who can like do pull-ups with their cock and do all this crazy stuff to go out and do these fitness expos, or even the Army has an esports team now.
Yeah, Coast Guard does too.
Yeah, like you can play fucking League of Legends professionally. You can play like Counter-Strike or Call of Duty or League of Legends.
The worst thing ever.
Video game
for the military.
Video gaming.
It's the worst thing ever. The only thing like that's
trying to get on it, but
I'm sure you were. It's up there with the guys that go for us. The rate's called musician. It's the guys that were band geeks in high school and then joined the Coast Guard to be a band geek again.
Yeah, when I was at basic leadership course, there was a guy who was in the Army band. He was a tuba player in the Army band at Fort Jackson, which is the number one like basic training post in America. And he had like an expert soldier badge, and he'd been to air assault school and all this, like, pretty difficult
with
stuff
his
to
tuba?
achieve I guess with his tuba, man. I guess that was in his rucksack or something.
He's got a tap.
He was fucking
tuba.
Yeah, he was fucking doing whatever, on the way to go fucking rappel out of this helicopter.
He's
Alex.
He was a cool guy, but really
he's
smart guy. But
here's all I picture: he's in the helicopter. They're like, "Go, go, go!" And he's got his fucking tuba, and somebody shoves an RPG into the front of it. And that's how he launches it. He's just.
So,
hey,
Paul,
speaking of
I
tubas,
have to do it now.
Hold on. Speaking of tubas,
Go ahead.
because I'm going to forget this. Alex, have you ever got to shoot the guns on your ships, or were you not allowed anywhere? Okay, you got to shoot them.
Yep. So I've shot. Yeah. So the big gun. Okay. No. Oh no. Like it. Well, yeah. When I first got in, so like the first year, Coast Guard's different. You don't go to your tech school or MOS school right away. You normally have to do a year of what we call non-rate time. So you're an E2 or an E3, and you have to go to a unit. You got to do all the trash jobs. You're non-rated, and you kind of get to look at all the other jobs to figure out what you want to do. But when you're on a cutter like I was, there was only the first cutter I went to. There was only 62 people on board, the whole ship. So I was I shot at non-compliant boats because I was a boarding team member, like the guys who strap on shotguns, and the shotgun was my deal. They always gave the shortest guy the shotgun so you could look like the meanest, basically.
Well, because all the other guns would drag the ground when you tried to walk with them.
Dude, there were some times because, you got to go from like a small boat up to, depending on how big the boat was, right? So we're in like a small, like rib, basically. We roll up to this fish processor off of Washington State. And this thing, it had probably like a 17-foot climb in like 15-foot seas to get up, and I'm a fucking short dude, and so like I'm struggling to like time it, and the guy behind me just picks me up by my fucking body armor behind me and just fucking throws me at the Jacob's ladder, and I catch
nothing
it.
More emasculating.
There's not, but I'm like freaking out, and he just comes up, and I remember this fucking guy. He just comes up and he keeps like pushing on me, and he's like, "Go, go, go!" And I'm kind of freaking out. This is like my first boarding. It's 15-foot seas with a 17-foot climb in the middle of all of that. And I do remember he's like pushing me. And then finally he just takes his hand and knife hands and just shoves it right up my crack. And I'm like,
credit card.
And
I just instantly started going. So that guy was such a fucking prick, though.
What were you going to say, Clay? What were you going to ask me?
Oh, yeah. I don't know what you do, man. You're down in my home state. You might be doing something I'm familiar with.
I live in North Carolina now. Yeah, I live in North Carolina now.
Where at?
I'm in the Raleigh area.
Okay.
Holly Springs, south of Raleigh. Yeah, I know, get on Highway 1 and go straight north. Yeah. Jordan, Sharon Harris, from my lakes.
Know exactly where that is. What do you do up there?
I own a business called Crusher, and it is a mobile trash compaction unit, and I go in and crush up, compact the trash, and roll off dumpsters. So the big dumpsters you typically see on construction sites, called roll-offs or open tops. I got a piece of equipment that goes in. It looks like something off of Mad Max, a big old drum with a bunch of teeth on it.
Yeah.
And
witness me.
It looks like a humongous
Paul. That's the perfect TikTok,
isn't it?
Oh, that's the perfect TikTok.
Yeah.
You're a TikTok.
If you're in one of those crazy Mad Max trucks, man, just witness me. Spray paint your face and shit, dude.
But you think that it looks way more fun than it is, but all it is a big old drum that goes in the can, and it's very slow, and about after 2 minutes, it's really not as fun as it looks, but it makes some money and allows me to fish and pretend that I pay Alex a little bit of money to run this podcast.
It's true. I think, total side note, this is 2 episodes in a row, Paul. I don't know if you've noticed this. I don't know if Clay talked to Joey. This is 2 where like our guests have turned the questions on to us.
Well, I mean,
it usually go the other way.
Oh yeah, like normally this is us.
The host.
Like you're our guest, and then but you and
I've
Joey
watched
have
so much
both.
of your content, and I'm like, I want to get in.
It's refreshing.
Heads about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's interesting just to talk to other people who make stuff for social media platforms, because it's such a weird hobby to pick. Like for me, it's not a job. I don't make that much money off of it. I've made a lot more money in the past on YouTube to where I was like, oh shit, I might be able to quit my job. And then the money like just stops immediately. And I'm like, fuck, God damn it again.
Yeah.
We're going to, YouTube's like, hey, all these country bumpkins making money, we're about to fuck them up because we're about to change the algorithm.
Not happening.
And they ain't going to know what to do.
Yeah. I live stream video games like a lot. And I no shit. I was playing a pirate game called Sea of Thieves. I was playing this fucking game and I started humming the theme song to Pirates of the Caribbean. The fucking I was literally going da 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 da.
All right, don't do it here, dickhead.
Oh, my fault. Yeah. Cut that out. Yeah.
That's okay. I sing tag team.
Mark that down. You're as bad as Paul now.
Yeah,
we did sing tag team last episode.
UMG fucking copyrighted me for humming it. I went to the timestamp and it's just me going.
I think so. Do you still stream video games?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty regularly. Usually like
that's weird. There's not a lot of nerds in the outdoor games, so it's good to see you there.
Yeah, I have I think I have a weird grasp on the hobby game because I'm big into video games, huge into video games. If I wasn't on the podcast tonight, I'd be playing the new Hogwarts game that just came out, the new Harry Potter game. But I'm also super big into fishing, and I have a weird I think I have a weird take on fishing and hunting where I don't do it for I like doing it because it's fun, but my primary purpose is typically not for fun. When I hunt year round, usually between like April to September, I have a lull where I don't really hunt because there's nothing in season that I hunt. Because I don't hog hunt or anything like that. But as soon as September kicks off, I start like going, okay, deer hunting time is here. The boat's got to go away for a little bit. So a lot of my fishing is primarily in post spawn to late summer.
Okay.
For bass and stuff like that. But I shoot pretty indiscriminately whitetail deer. Like I'm not a trophy hunter whatsoever. So I get ragged on pretty heavy for that, especially on social media.
Build that freezer,
exactly.
Baby.
So I shot 6 whitetails this year, which is completely in the realms in South Carolina of tag system and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then when spring rolls around and deer season and squirrel season, rabbit season kind of chill out, that's when I start thinking about fishing and stuff like that more heavily.
And then after that, you start thinking about Hogwarts.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm thinking about Hogwarts 24/7. Like 365, big thing for me.
Listen, we should have had a Mandy on this
video games, man.
Because my wife is really into Harry Potter. You guys could have had a whole episode.
Oh, dude, I can fuck up some Harry Potter conversations.
Rods and wands.
Hey, Clay, when you play Hogwarts, do you dress up like Harry Potter? Do you put a cape on? And
I would if I could. I would if I could.
Oh my God.
I would make my wife wear that every day if I could.
Like you need to live stream the video game and then you dressed up as Harry Potter. Oh, speaking of Harry Potter,
I'm sure you play like quote unquote cool games, right? But you're the second guy that we've had on who like streams video games, right? Because 603 Basson, I guess, was a huge like Battlefield guy, but he played like Battlefield and Call of Duty, and he was like million subs or some shit, like crazy. And I was like, oh, that's got to be what Clay's talking about. And then you were like,
dude, I play a lot of horror games. Like scary games are a big thing for me. And like old school first person shooter games are super in my wheelhouse. Like Doom and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I bought
GoldenEye just re-released on the Switch.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, dude. Caught that day one. Yeah. And there's a GoldenEye spinoff coming out called Agent 64 on PC on Steam. Okay. That is like GoldenEye as fuck. But I'm big into the video game scene. Stay pretty relevant in there. I just got too many hobbies. That's what my wife keeps telling me.
All right. So as somebody who makes, sorry, Paul.
No, go ahead.
As somebody who makes content, right? I actually literally just sitting here saw this video, right? I saw this video. It's from, and the only reason I bring it up because I think it's interesting because you do have a, shut up, TikTok. You do have a big following on TikTok, right? Like a really decent following compared
bigger
to,
than I thought it would be.
Yeah. It's awesome. It's bigger than I thought it was too. No, I'm just joking. But all right, so
bigger than I deserve, without a doubt.
This is from RockiesModernLife.lfg. This dude runs he snowboards up in Vermont. He runs his own indoor skateboard ramp up there, and he fishes, right? But he did this whole video, right? I thought it was really interesting. This whole video about how he was talking about TikTok specifically. Like, if you do rad shit, and he's like, I don't care what you're doing, whether you cook really well, whether you snowboard, you fish, or you skate, and you doing something really rad on TikTok, you're going to get trash views because nobody gives a fuck. He's like, TikTok is for interacting with people. It's for starting a conversation. And he literally so I did this experiment. I put out like 2 weeks ago, or these last 2 weeks, I put out these like, just trying to be fancy with some clips and see how the traction is. It's fucking trash. Traction. Like no traction at all. But me making a video, me crying basically about how it's cold outside, fucking pops off. And I'm like, and then I literally just saw the video while I was waiting for Paul because he's been consistently late coming to the show. And I saw that. It really hit me. What do you think about that, Clay?
So relativity is a huge thing on TikTok. And yeah, I definitely agree that I guess like user interaction is a huge part of TikTok's algorithm. It would appear, because like I'll have somebody ask on a video, like, oh, well, how do you carry a deer stand since you know so fucking much about deer stands? And I'm like, okay, well, this is how I carry a deer stand. And the video will get like 1,000 views or something, right? Or I'll put out a video saying, this kind of lure is for these people that, their family tree looks like a flagpole. And like, it'll get that video, the main video, get 600,000 views. And then the video of me explaining like, well, I like this kind of lure or this type of product or this kit bag or, this deer stand carrying system for these reasons, those will only get like 1,200, 1,400 views. Mm-hmm. Whereas me talking shit on another brand or making fun of a certain type of stereotypical outdoorsman that does this kind of thing, that'll be up in the 600,000-700,000.
I think that's the drama factor, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah. And I think it also comes down to people like commenting. The comments are a huge part of social media, especially in the outdoor scene, because nobody agrees on anything, it appears. If I say I like shimmy sticks, some dude's going to come back and say, well, fucking Zoom trick worms have been around for this long. And then some guy's going to be like, Yum Dingers got me this. And it's just like a back and forth sequence where people are always
and God forbid you mention Guggen, then it's going to be just a fucking shitstorm.
God almighty, dude. I mentioned Guggen in one video. And I don't know if Rob Turkla or fucking John B unleashed the wrath or whatever, but these dudes came for me. I thought they were going to be outside of my fucking house. It was ridiculous. I was like, Guggen, I don't like Guggen baits. The plastics are super expensive for what they are.
Yep.
If I'm going to spend that much on a plastic, I'm going to buy like Biospawn or something.
Same company.
And, yeah. And like they just unleashed on me.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, the plastics suck. I don't know what you want from me.
What's
like,
funny
I
is
can
they'll
literally
go the
like,
other
breathe
way,
on it and the fucking pads will
dude,
come
they'll
off.
go the other way though. I released that video that I said, hey, Guggen baits aren't that bad. They're hard baits.
Yep, and they'll be in your
They're
butthole.
not that
like,
bad.
Let me
And
massage your dick, dude.
Right? No,
like,
but it went the other way. They were like, "Fuck you! You just love the Guggens," and I'm like, "No, I'm just saying, I love it."
And I started, I appreciate so much what Guggen has done for the industry because it showed that you don't have to be a pro fisherman to really take a hold of this industry by the nutsack and twist it off. Like these dudes, I remember watching John B when he had like, I don't know, 10,000 on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, this guy is really trying, and he catches some pretty nice fish, and he's just really personable. And then him and Rob Turkla and fucking Flair, they all started this whole brand together. And I was like, that's cool. They're doing their thing. They're making way more money than I'll ever make in my entire life.
Yep.
And they succeeded, but I still don't like their product.
No. I mean, what? So to John B, though, like John B's got mad skills, like
Oh my
in
God.
making videos. Like, I mean, the B in John B is obviously for B-roll because he knows how to do it so perfectly.
Unparalleled.
He has probably ruined more fishing YouTubers than anybody because I know specifically, I even catch myself now doing it. When I make a video, I'm like, ooh, I'm going to do some fucking B-roll. And then I put it all together. I'm like, that's dope. And then I'm like, hey, Amanda, my wife, I'm like, hey, watch this video before I release it. She's like, it's all that dumb shit in the beginning. I'm like, oh, it's B-roll. And she's like, yeah, but it doesn't look good. I'm like, no, you don't understand. And she goes, no, I know what you're trying to do, but it looks like trash. And I'm like,
yeah,
I guess I'm not releasing a video this week because I got to redo the whole thing.
Yeah, that's why I don't ask my wife anything. I'm just like, yeah, send it, put it to the publisher.
You don't want to get your feelings hurt because she's gonna hurt them.
No, she's gonna be like, that looks like shit, man. I'm like, fuck, I tried so hard. I spent like 4 hours on this. She's like, that.
Yeah, I don't
like
even
this.
try. I'm gonna put the shit together, and I don't care, and I'm gonna send it out there. I ain't trying to make no money, but you know, like my TikTok, I put some of the dumbest shit out there on TikTok. I just made a video of me in the grocery store going, y'all look, and showed a 2 seconds of a sausage about best sausage ever. It bitch was over 7,000 views.
Yeah.
Now that's not a lot
Paul
to you,
but
I've got 1,200. I only got 1,200.
He gets way better views than the Bass and Brews site off these stupid fucking.
I try to put like some serious effort. Like I put up a video about like tips, or I try to explain like some of the companies that I super heavily support. And I'm like, yo, look at this product. This is fucking awesome. Jules Catfish Bait was one of the big ones because I grew up fishing with Jules, and the dude who ended up buying the company is a veteran. He bought the company and he like brought the name back up. He was doing cool stuff. And, you know, I spend like 7 takes, like, you know, a good hour trying to make this video super good and super informative, like 4,000 views. I'm like, okay, I'll go fuck myself. And then I spend 30 seconds making a video talking shit
kills me, dude.
about like Triton boats. And it's like, oh, 600,000 views. You got 14,000 followers off of this video. I'm like, okay, well, yeah, that makes sense.
I will.
Low effort is high reward.
What I find interesting in the fishing world, because you know I like a lot of stuff. So my For You page on TikTok is an absolute disaster. I mean, it's an ADHD, it's the ADD's dream. It is a disaster. So I like to see a lot of cool shit. But I'll say the fishing stuff that comes across on my For You page is, I mean, has a ton of engagement. It always has a ton of views. Fishing is a really cool little niche on that TikTok platform. And before I forget, you can now respond on Instagram with an Instagram reel, just like you can comment with a TikTok.
No shit.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
You YouTube now, and when you go to comment, you can do it with, you can put a comment as, you can put a reel as a comment
on Instagram. Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
That's been the biggest thing with TikTok, and that's why fishing's so cool about it is, again, like you said earlier, nobody agrees on anything. So you get the negative interaction, and then you get the people that don't agree with them, and then you know you get it's I mean, it's a minefield,
man.
Yeah.
I think for folks, you're right, and I think it's different for folks. So I know. So I'll let out some juice here. So like we grew. And I say we because when I was gone, we continued and we continue to put the show Bass and Brews is on my personal YouTube channel, right? And we've been able to grow that steadily when I was gone. But when I came home, we hit shorts real hard, right? Mm-hmm. I hit shorts really hard, and I jumped from, I think it was at like 700 subs to 1.1K now since end of October. And a lot of that's using shorts. And I talk with some folks, and there's like this whole theories kind of going around, right? But specifically talk about what Rocky's Mountain Life talked about. So TikTok, I feel like, is more of that interaction, right? But if you're doing some cool shit and shit like that, a lot of people talk about how Instagram's dead, and I agree with them, but YouTube Shorts is not. So push that shit when you're doing cool shit. Put that shit to YouTube Shorts, because I noticed for us, like we would do the B-roll shot, a long thing of text, right? Something kind of thought-provoking or whatever on the TikTok channel, right? And those generated a lot of views, a lot of interaction. Those did not do well on YouTube Shorts. But really? I do a 30-second video. I do the same video of the drone shots, right? I did 2 drone shots horizontally on the video, and then in the middle, like me fishing. That did nothing. Absolutely bombed on TikTok. I think it's one of the coolest videos I've made. I think it looks dope. There's so much to like grab your eye, and it killed. It did 23,000 in 1 hour on YouTube Shorts.
Fucking A.
Right? So I think when he brought that up, and it just kind of hit me where like you could transition, because I don't think Instagram is the way to go anymore. I think Instagram is still garbage. No. It's so full of bots. It's so confused on what it wants to do.
Unless you were marketing a product.
Oh,
if you were marketing a product, Instagram is probably the place to do it.
I still think TikTok's actually the better platform for it to market a product. I do, because TikTok is so full of bots and bullshit at this point.
Yeah.
TikTok does not have that. I'm sorry, man. Instagram is so full of bots, and like literally I haven't touched the Bass and Brews Instagram in a month. And I randomly went in it today and I looked and I'm like, how did we grow 300 followers? And I look and they're all like Russian porn bots. Every single one. Which is great. I'm glad that Bass and Brews is great in the Russian porn industry. That's exactly what
Madeline Big Tits following you now, dude.
That's it, right?
You say that, but I would be willing to bet at least a third of my TikTok followers are the, the people that follow you, and then you get the hidden messages about hey handsome, how are you, and every other word is misspelled.
Hey, we're marketing for off-leash products.
Do you get that on TikTok?
A third of my followers are probably that, because what'll happen is I'll get some followers, and then a couple weeks later, my followers will drop by like 10 or 15.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think that's because of the content that you do, where you do the all right, so there's like that whole.
I look at the people following me though, and it is them. I click on the thing.
They all look fake.
It's definitely 100% fake. I get a lot of that. I mean,
I still feel like that's less than Instagram.
One of the reasons you don't recognize the people on TikTok as often as you do as the people on Instagram is because of the messaging features on TikTok, where you're not allowed to message unless you both follow each other.
They're trash.
Yeah. Not anymore.
So, like,
not anymore. The message, you can receive 3 messages. If you select it, you have to select it, but you can receive like 3 messages from someone that if I'm messaging Clay and Clay doesn't follow me, then I can send you 3 messages. They just changed that a week or 2 ago.
No shit. I didn't know that. Okay.
Oh, good. I'm going to spam. On TikTok. I'm going to spam like everybody.
So
I'm going to spam
the last time I got
all
on TikTok was probably halfway through BLC. I got on TikTok just to check how things were going. And TikTok, I have found, is a very like start and go venture, where you'll have one video that does well, and you'll get a ton of views, and those views will be followed, by followers or by likes and comments and stuff like that. Whereas I've found that YouTube is a much more slow growth platform. So I've been on YouTube for probably 7 years at this point.
For Harry Potter, there's been that many Harry Potter games?
Not Harry Potter yet. Fishing Planet was the biggest one. I think my best Fishing Planet video on YouTube got like close to 300,000 views.
Holy
and
shit.
it was like YouTube, average of like 9-minute view duration things. And I made a bunch of guides for this fishing game and stuff, and that was like my claim to fame. And then I started playing this horror game called Phasmophobia, which is like a ghost hunting game. And I made more money off of that game than I ever thought possible. I think I made YouTube doesn't like you saying money or whatever, but I don't make enough money for it to matter. I think I made like $750 in a month off of YouTube.
Oh, a month.
Just off of a month, yeah. like from live stream donations. It wasn't even like views and stuff. It was just people donating. The most I ever made in a night was like $400
right
on YouTube live streaming. So it can be lucrative, but the live streaming part of it is a very up and down thing. But YouTube is much more of a slow growth platform where it seems like, okay, I only have 1,000 subs right now. And it may take you 5 years to get to 5,000, or it may take you 6 months to get to 5,000. It all depends on like the consistency of the content. Whereas TikTok is like, okay, you have to post 3 times a day, every day of the week to fucking get the views that you want to get. And it has to be this kind of content because you have to cater to your followers, where I feel like YouTube pulls in more random people.
No, see, I disagree totally. So I disagree. Yeah, so I disagree. And well, I think they're the same. I think and here's why I think it. I mean, fundamentally they're a little different, but so YouTube I think is harder. It's fundamentally harder because it's long form content for the most part, right? I know they're doing shorts now, and a lot of channels, including my own, was like getting a lot of traction off shorts, but that doesn't always translate into the metrics that you want, because like, let's say you put out a 10-minute video and only 1 minute of it gets watched. There's so much on YouTube, you will get buried. Yeah. So if you really want to like, so like specifically in the outdoor realm, right? So if you want to hit it off on YouTube, unboxings, gear reviews, shit like that kills. Why? Because us as fishermen or anglers go out and we look up whatever this new lure is online, or whatever lure is new to us, and we want to hear the reviews of people, right? And that's where that's going to show. And I don't like doing that personally. As I say that, I'm going to have one come out probably this Tuesday, because I haven't done one in a long time, right? I used to do them all the time. For me, I realized I was buying shit that I didn't need. Early on, when I started doing YouTube, I was buying shit that I didn't need just to do a video on it, which I was spending money to have the pipe dream to make money, which is a ass backwards, stupid fucking premise.
Especially in YouTube.
Yeah. Like there's so much.
I feel like when I thought I was doing well, I was like, well, I'll buy this nicer camera. I'll buy this fucking microphone.
Yeah.
And a month into me thinking that I was doing better, it all just like,
well, so honestly, man, this is why I think me and Paul, I think Paul could probably agree, like the podcast, I think, is the best platform because
it's so much fun.
Well, I mean,
podcasting is so much fun,
dude.
But it is like a lower entry to
no. I mean, all right, Paul, we're gonna flex. How much was your mic, Paul?
Well, so before we
is that a sure mic?
Yes, that's a sure both mic. Are.
It's the MV7, and so the MV7, it can connect through the XLR, or it can connect.
Oh my god, you got an XLR! Holy shit!
Yeah. So
you guys are talking about my keyboard. Fuck.
Well, this is the good thing with this is though is the Shure MV7. This one can connect through into your computer through the whatever the port, that little port that goes into your computer. That's the good thing about this one.
C lightning port.
No, it's not the lightning.
Not lightning port.
No?
Nope. It's USB-C.
Yes. Okay. Shit. Anyway, but that's why this was a good one, because it can connect straight there, and they're badass microphones.
Yeah.
But my point on the podcast,
I'm jealous. I promise you.
Talking about growth on podcasting is slower than hell. Most
super
podcasts,
slow.
Really?
Super slow.
But you got to think most people are putting out an episode a week. On average, they're putting out episode every other week. So it's a longer. But the once you build that community, the fan base, the listeners, they tend to stay around a lot longer and be a little more loyal, typically.
Right.
But so YouTube or podcasting is like kayak fishing. The barrier to entry is very short. You can get into podcasting with a Blue Yeti.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Which we both had. Which are decent microphones.
Pretty good for the money.
Yeah. You can use the camera on your computer if you're going to do video, but a lot of people don't do video. I mean, Now you have to get the platforms to record the stuff, and then you have to get the platform to put it out. But still, again, you're looking at $300 a year at the basic point to be able to do that, and you can do it for less than that. You can do it for less than that. So I disagree with Alex and say that that doing a podcast.
No, you can start easier. Yes,
but
okay,
this shit ain't just us sitting around once a week and recording this and then putting it out. There's still a lot of work to do to get it. We don't do a lot of editing on this one, but we still have to go in and we got to splice stuff together. And then Alex has to go through and pull out all the clips to make the social media stuff. Like it's more like a job to promote it, because you're trying to promote it through a bunch of different avenues. So it's just not. And here's some stats for you. Right now, there's somewhere around 4 million podcasts out there.
Holy shit! I did not know that. It's that many.
That's yeah. But in the world of YouTube videos and blogs, it's a baby. That doesn't even come close to those. Out of those 4 million, there's only like, and I might mess the numbers up. So if y'all go fact check me, okay, I'll be close enough. Let's say there's only 300,000 podcasts that have posted once in the last month and have more than 10 episodes. So out of 4 million, so that's what happens is they say the average podcast lasts 9 episodes.
Correct.
It's not as easy, as to put that product out there. It's easy to get it, to make it, but then to get it out there and to do it and continually do it, it is not. It's a way harder way to grow, or platform to grow on, versus the other ones. And I love it. It's fun. This is what I like to do. I hate editing videos.
I feel you, man.
Gigabytes of fishing videos just sitting there. I hate that side of it. I don't want to do all that shit.
Send them over, man. I'll run them things through fucking Sony quicker than you know what to do, man.
There you go, man. He's been asking for somebody to do it, but nobody wants to look at his stupid toes for 9 million hours.
And that's what when it comes my bare feet.
You didn't have to bring the toes into it.
So when it comes to the podcasting, why I actually like it. So I'm glad you mentioned it. It is a slow burn, Paul, right? I started it, and first episode came out, I hit it heavy on Instagram. First episode, I saw 40 views, and I was like, you know what? That's fucking pretty good for first episode.
That's 40 fucking people, dude. That's pretty good.
Second episode, 4.
Fuck.
Yeah. So, but I kept plugging away. And here's why I like it, though, and why it might not be for everybody. It's you don't have direct interaction. Meaning, you put out a YouTube video, right? Somebody's going to leave a comment, and they're going to be like, hey, man, you're a fucking dickhead because you didn't do this or do videos like this, right? Yeah. I put this out as a complete kind of option, unless it's one of our live shows, obviously, and the Brewskis can add in their wonderful comments, because you guys are all the best. You guys are the best degenerate idiots that we know. But we put it out there, and you have to build it. But you don't have to deal with trends. You kind of can do trends, but it's not like there's no thumbnail game. Like YouTube, there's a thumbnail game, right?
Huge thing in YouTube is thumbnails, dude.
And guess what? There's none of that in podcasting. Traditional, audio podcasting. Obviously, if you're doing a, because these come out on YouTube, I got to do a fucking thumbnail. I actually forgot to do one last week, and the video's still doing good, so I don't give a shit.
Hey, man, yeah.
So I'm just gonna leave it. Yeah. But honestly, we don't really build this show for video. This show is built for audio. This is for traditional podcasting, and it takes a while. But once it gets going, it gets going. And once you hone it in, and I like that Paul said, it's not the easiest thing. Paul did such a good job when I was gone to ensure that we have not missed a week. The end of April 24th is going to be 2 years of the podcast, and we have never missed a fucking week. Except for awesome, between episode 1 and episode 2. and Paul wasn't involved.
That's such a dedication. That's such a dedication.
And you have to kind of like it because in one way it's nice that you don't get that dope. You don't get that automatic like catching the trends bullshit thing, right? But also the other end is you don't get that dopamine hit either of like, ooh, look at my likes. Look at the comments. Ooh, I'm doing so good, right? Like you're kind of in a vacuum. And then every once in a while you look at your stats and you're like, oh shit, like
we've been burning pretty good. Yeah.
Right. So it's a whole weird thing. I fucking love it. Like I went from where a lot of people know it, but I'll fucking say it again. This show was initially supposed to be an avenue to draw views to my YouTube channel. Like the podcast is supposed to be the secondary thing. And me becoming a YouTube star was the first thing. Well, that fucking failed. And it failed because I realized, well, I know, right? But it failed because I realized that this is the actual product that is better. This is the product that I like doing more. And I don't have to worry about it. Like I make, as my wife says, shitty fishing videos that are too fancy for no reason. And I make them just to make them for myself.
Yeah, my wife calls them dumb TikToks.
Yeah.
I think that's the verbiage she uses.
Do you
a lot
have
of my buddies at work have found me too. And now people that I knew in like 2013 are showing up on some of my TikTok videos, and I'm like, why do you fucking see me on here?
That's weird.
Like,
right?
I don't want nothing to do with you. Like I left you in the past for a reason, and now you're fucking showing up. But like an interesting note, like social media wise, is like live streamers or people who produce, especially video game content.
Yeah.
Or even in the outdoor scene, I've seen a lot of guys, basically they start on either TikTok or YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And they use one to draw people to the other.
Correct.
Whichever one pops first seems to be the one that they like cling. Oh God, I have so much Miller Lite in my system. Holy shit.
That's what happens when you drink little bitch beers.
No, this is number 6.
Are those butter beers from Hogwarts?
If you keep bringing up this Hogwarts thing,
you brought it up.
I did bring it up. It's my
He's
fault
like, man, I thought they were going to be cool. I thought they were going to, listen, really enjoy.
I'll start talking shit about. I'll start talking shit about Paul's terrible handwriting in a minute. But whoever's writing on that fucking chalkboard with their feet back there, fucking
man, it takes some skill to be able to write with a toe. I did that
down
with a
at that,
not
man.
chalk.
I'm sure you did.
Oh, that's fucking gross.
It's with all the bats living in your ceiling. I figured you'd be hanging upside down trying to do it with your fucking with an ice pick or something.
All right, but go ahead. So you're saying one,
like
one drives the other.
One drives the other, and especially in the live stream game, for guys who are trying to pull into live streaming, they tend to guys who make long form content on YouTube where they're like, oh, this shit's funny. There's a lot of jokes in it, but you have to like get to the jokes. They tend to make the TikTok clips, and those TikTok clips drive traffic to the YouTube channel, and then they upload it to YouTube Shorts, and then people are like, well, I'm not going to spend 12 minutes watching this asshole's video, so I'm just going to go follow his TikTok. And it's almost like a Pong game of social media where they're like, holy shit, this one drives this one, and now that this one's driving this one, I can drive this one. And they're basically just bouncing subs off of each other. But YouTube is such a hard game these days with everybody and their fucking mother. It's almost like the Google Drive of videos where people just like
it literally is actually
whatever. Like some dude fucking is trying to remember something at the laundromat for 6 months ago. So he's like,
I shit out of that too.
Yeah. It's like, oh, this guy's fucking saying something in Portuguese at the laundromat. I better watch it 4 times to try and figure out what's going on. It's like, oh, I just gave that guy's 10 cents from watching his video. And I think people, one of the big things I've tried to point out to people in real life is that social media does not fucking pay as much as you think it does. No. Like a 200,000 view video on TikTok is worth like, what, $3? Like,
we don't know. You tell us. You're the one that's got it, not us.
I honestly, I don't even know. So if I upload a video, and I made like the last video I uploaded that was really good. I think it got like 725,000 views, something in that realm. I might have made $12 off of that video. YouTube wise, it's all about the audience retention and how much people watch. So I know like a video that has 250,000 views. At that 250,000 views, you're only making like maybe $40 off of it. If you have a really good clicks per minute, like dollar rating and stuff like that. So social media does not pay as much as people think it does. Like if I uploaded
in the traditional AdSense, right?
Yeah. And it live streaming is fucking worse. I can live stream for 4 hours, have 50 people come through, and I've made 19 cents.
That's 19 cents more than I think anybody would pay you to watch you play as Harry Potter.
Yeah, it's like, dude, I'm a pirate right now. Like, I'm a fake pirate. And
you're a pirate at Hogwarts?
No, Sea of Thieves, dude.
It was pirate game.
I'll play other games. Come on, man.
Here's the thing.
Video games
I was transitioning.
Transcendental.
I was transitioning Sea of Thieves into Hogwarts Legacy.
Speaking of which, if there's a fishing game that you think you should try out, fucking please let me know. Because I can promise you that almost all of them are horrible.
They're trash.
Like the worst things you've ever decided to put your time into ever.
Trash.
They're god awful. The Rapala bass fishing games, the ultimate fishing games, they're so bad.
Yeah.
It's like trying to control a fucking forklift with your feet. Like it's miserable. It's like, why do you put your time into this catch a fucking virtual fish?
Bass and Brews does not agree with Clay's statements. If you can control a forklift with your feet, we support you. I know he's trying.
You better
to
not have arms, though. You better not have arms.
You better go on social media because that will be.
I'll shout that to the heavens, dog.
Clay hates forklift drivers with no arms.
Yeah, fuck them.
Here's the thing about
this.
Hey, on the podcasting side, I don't forgot what the fuck I was gonna say. Never mind.
Paul, you're the worst. You're the worst, Paul.
I'll think about it when Alex starts talking again.
He will. And what's messed up is like me and Clay are perfectly in sync, but you're the only one that's out of sync. I don't know what's wrong with your internet.
He skipped a file or something. There's a megabyte not in place. Yeah.
Such trash. Yeah.
Probably tried to put too many signs up on his fucking wall.
All right, Clay, we're about ready to hit what is probably more controversial than Alex Rudd speaking his mind. More controversial than Paul's hatred of uniform service members.
I'm so ready for whatever this subject is.
No, we're literally, it's not a subject. We are about ready to hit the patent pending Bass and Brews shotgun round. It's gonna be rapid fire questions. Oh my God, Paul, that was fucking awesome.
Paul, that was really good.
Hold on.
You got a soundboard? You got an Elgato? What's going on here?
Yeah, he does have a soundboard over there. Hold on, Paul. Wait. Oh, he's got a fancy one though. Paul's got an Amazon special. Paul, let's redo the whole thing and be ready. Okay, we're gonna say it. Ready? We're gonna restart. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Are you, Clay, ready for the patent pending Bass and Brews shotgun round?
I am more ready for this than I've ever
been. Paul, you fucked it up. You had the broken glass. You had the stone cold broken glass ready to go.
That's the bottom line.
I think, all right, before we even end this episode, Clay, it's been great having you on. I fucking kind of hate this episode because I have no idea what to title this. This has been a fucking blast. We barely talked about fishing, but I don't give a shit. Like, we just talked. This is Bass and Brews. This is what we do.
Yeah, man. You should have gave me a subject beforehand because I'm gonna go.
We don't do subjects. No, we don't do.
We don't have subjects beforehand. We don't. This is it. We just start talking, and whatever diarrhea is out of our mouth is what we have to clean up.
I got to figure out how to title this. Like, how to transition. Okay, here's the title.
Bass
From
and Brews,
Hogwarts. From
expert.
Hogwarts to the lake. Social media fishing with Clay Coleman.
Gryffindor bass fishing tactics. Let's go.
All right. Before we get to it, again, this is either elevated people to the highest heights of fishing society, or it has sunk people completely. So I want to give you an opportunity if you'd like to shout out anybody right now.
Right now, my favorite bait companies are Buzzin' Bait Company.
Hell yeah.
BUZZN.
Justin.
He's on TikTok. He's a fucking awesome dude. He makes wicked buzz baits and chatter baits.
And
I'd
swim
also like to
jigs.
shout out and swim. I haven't tried the swim jigs.
They're great.
Can't preach on them. If any of you fucking degenerate cat fishermen out there looking for a new stink bait, Jules catfish bait is the absolute shit. I have a YouTube channel, Crew Dog Gamer. I turned my microphone off. The logo is my tattoo. And my mom is super cool. I'm gonna go ahead and say that.
Yeah, and also he's House Gryffindor. He's a hardcore
Hogwarts fan, bro. I love Harry
can't
Potter.
wait. I can't wait for all these. Sometimes when we do these, Paul said it's work to like cut up all the clips, and sometimes it is, but most time it's not. Like I like to go through, right? Like I have a fucking list. I cannot fucking wait to go through, and most of these are us.
Fun to see it.
And I'm gonna clip them a lot together of us just shitting on you for saying Hogwarts.
Hey, Alex, I hope you wrote down the shotgun questions, because I got a message after last week's episode from our good buddy William Shaw, who never lets anything that we miss or do wrong go by without saying, "Hey, dumbass." And we missed two really important ones, so I hope you wrote them down this week so we don't miss
I
them.
did not, but so here's the thing. Not only, yes, William Shaw, you're right. We messed up. But here's where I'm not even disappointed in us, Paul. I'm going to be a full, kind of our generation. I'm disappointed yet again in the Bass and Brews historian, Tori, because she did not let us know that we missed that, meaning that she didn't watch that episode. And maybe if she watched that episode, she would have caught some more fish at Lake Norman.
Damn, you didn't have to do that.
Just wait till the Tuesday episode. I already hit her up on TikTok, and I was like, listen, I kind of apologize. You guys will have to listen to that first episode of the Queen City Chronicles for 2023.
I can't wait to listen to that shit. That's going to be a cool episode.
That's a good one, man.
For such a young kid coming in the list.
Yeah.
Badass.
Oh, he's a youngin', and
he's young, but he's also won it's Jackson Orr, so he's won a bunch of stuff on the national trails. I mean, we're talking about a guy that's killing college angler too, college angler in the kayak world, college angler in the bass boat, everything.
I need to shout out Hunter Dill. He's on the Missouri bass fishing team. He's a guy I fished brim tournaments out of Saluda Lake here in South Carolina with. He hosted brim tournaments. Super cool kid. He's on the Mizzou bass fishing team now, and look out for him because he's a fucking sniper.
Wait,
he's a mean bastard.
Is that a total side note in front of everybody? Is that a real, like, he got on to Mizzou has a fishing team due to brim specifically?
No, so he was on the Drury College, DRURY.
I thought he had, he got hooked on a fishing team for brim. I was like, yo, man.
But if there was one, I'd be going to college for free.
I was about to say, I got a Montgomery GI Bill. I will convert that into a.
Me and my TA will be fucking going to ham, dog.
Did he just get hooked up with that?
Yeah. So just recently, this past year, he got put on the Mizzou bass fishing team on a scholarship. He is an absolute monster.
That might be cool to talk to, Paul.
Yeah, if
like
I
a
can
kid
get
that
him
just
on
got
here,
hooked up with one. We just need a parental consent.
All right, he's a good kid, and he hosts tournaments for locals for brim.
Love it. All right, Clay, you ready? This is the shotgun round. Yeah, chug it up, whatever you got. I think this beer is like a day old.
Oh Jesus! Don't hurt yourself.
Oh no, that's a week old, I think.
That's bread in a can, dude.
Gassy.
Well, that had some dip spit in it. Woo! Anyways,
Yikes. Shout out Black Buffalo. Stop dipping tobacco. Start dipping
Oh.
fake stuff.
Is that fake stuff? Hold on, real quick. It still has
fake
nicotine, right?
Still has nicotine,
Yeah.
but it's actually like lettuce and collard greens and shit.
Hey, shout out Fully Loaded. Same
Oh
deal.
shit! Hell yeah, man.
Hold on a sec. Clay, your chew has collard greens in it. Do you just evacuate your hiney hole all day long, sucking on collard greens?
Is there nothing more southern than collard greens with nicotine in them?
It's I will say
the vegan it's the vegan cigarette.
The vegan
I'm just
cigarette.
saying, dude.
I'm gonna wrap my tobacco in some collard greens. I don't even smoke, and I'm gonna try.
Go for it, dude.
I will say Fully Loaded has like an alpha thing now, right? And it was what's his name? Doug Champlain threw it up on his page, and I randomly bought a pack, right? So I bought these, and they're great. These are the nicotine ones, but the ones without nicotine, they're like it's basically like a lip pouch full of pre-workout. It's fucking solid. Like
Holy
it
shit.
gives you
Is that those Send It pouches?
No, they're called Alpha pouches from Fully Loaded. The mango is on point. It gives you like enough buzz, but not like a nicotine buzz, like almost like a pre-workout buzz. But like, I don't know the way to describe it. It's awesome, dude.
I'm gonna have to check it out because I know Send It Sups does the like pre-workout pouches. Yeah, and I've actually got a 10-pack of peach coming from Black Buffalo right now. Not to say I don't still dip real tobacco, but primarily I dip.
No, it's all right, dude. You don't have to. Listen, that's a flex. I feel like a military thing. Like so many dudes in the military dip at some point. I'm a smoker. Everybody knows that obviously from my voice, right?
Oh my God, I love cigarettes so much.
But I dip on the side, right? Because there's sometimes on the ship where I can't smoke because we're doing flight ops or whatever. So you got to dip, right? But these nicotine pouches are the shit. You get no
helicopter flight engineer dip has been my thing for a
Yep.
long time because you can't smoke on flights.
Yep.
Huge on it. My plate carrier when I was overseas actually had a huge brown stain on it like this. It was disgusting. I feel sorry for whoever got that thing, but yeah, big in a dip. I've been dipping since I was like 12 years old or something like that, and finally over the past probably like 6 months I've got onto the
nicotine pouches are amazing, man.
They're so good.
They taste a little bit better, right? They don't burn, you know, as good, but
ain't nobody listening to the shotgun round. They all ended it when we started talking about the
shotgun round. God damn it! All right, I'm gonna stop.
Fuck you, Paul. Fuck you, Paul. They listen to everything. All right. Shit, I forgot. Oh, all right. Crocs or flops?
Crocs all day.
All right.
Camo specifically.
All right. Sweet. So to be clear, these are like we don't need an explanation. You just hammer it out.
All right.
Pineapple on pizza. Yes or no?
Yes.
My man.
Whoa. No.
My man.
He got us with Crocs and got us excited, and then he's pineapple.
No. He's living up
all day, bro.
Listen, Harry Plopper is living up to his name.
I'll take it.
What was the next question, Paul?
Spend more on a rod or a reel?
There you go.
What was it?
You gonna spend more on a rod or a reel?
The reel, for sure.
I like it. In a in a 5-hour session.
No, God.
Would you rather?
In a 3-hour session.
3 hours.
In a 3-hour session, you want to catch 5 2-pounders. You can see his dyslexia is coming out now. He's at pumpkin time and he's being dyslexic.
It's called
in a 3-hour session.
Down. I'm gonna need a fucking notepad here shortly. Keep going.
In a 3-hour session, do you want to catch 5 2-pound fish or 1 7-pounder?
5 2-pounders.
Okay.
Easy.
Man, that's
like it.
Not expecting that.
Are you on the way to the lake? Is it hype music or is it slow jams?
I'm a metalhead, so hype music all day.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Hype
Wacky
music
Rig or
with
Texas
yoga.
Rig?
There it is.
What was it? Something or Texas Rig?
Wacky Rig or Texas Rig?
Fuck. Texas Rig. Texas Rig. Because the weight.
Okay, old
Just because of
school.
the weight.
Old school.
Yeah, but you could have a weighted wacky, right? Like a
You
flick.
can, but it's not the same.
Oh,
Like
it
male
is.
weights aren't
Not
the
even
same.
close.
Oh no. It's a weighted head on the hook, dog.
I know what you're talking about.
Mhm.
It's not the same. It's not.
Not at
Listen, go to Swamp Rat Fishing on YouTube and you can see me hammer big bass with it.
I'll make sure to check out those half pounders.
Hey,
Right.
so we talked about eating a lot of animals today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever eaten beaver?
That's a loaded question.
Is it though?
I have eaten beaver rump.
like loaded,
Yes.
like loaded potatoes. Like ate it a loaded beaver.
What
Like loaded
fucking
beaver?
state are you coming from right now, Alex? Loaded
me?
beaver? Or no, fucking Paul? Jesus, I've had too many beers. I drank I drank like 2 wine coolers before we got on this. So
I can't believe. Well, I mean, listen, when you are the headmaster of Hogwarts, and you've got it,
headmaster of Hogwarts. Call me
Yeah.
Dumbledore, you bunch of fuckers.
yeah. But so you have eaten beaver, but only the
I have
rump.
eaten beaver.
But
I've
only
eaten
the rump.
and also pussy. Yes.
We have to bleep that out.
I'm not bleeping shit out.
I got a ring for a reason, you know what I'm saying?
Here you go.
I might bleep that one out for the TikTok, but that's amazing.
Hey, do you eat largemouth bass?
Yes.
I
Every
knew that
year.
was gonna be.
1
You
to
from
2
South
pounds. Yeah, 1 to
Mhm.
2 pounds is that's the right range to catch them.
All right,
14
Paul,
inches.
we got through all of them, right?
That's it, man. That's
Are
it.
we sure?
Yep. We
All right.
we are down to the main. This is the only reason people listen to
Clay,
this podcast.
You thought
last question.
exactly. You thought the shotgun round was controversial.
Oh shit.
You
Somehow
thought
I
talking
came up with
shit
this.
about bass. You thought talking shit about bass boats was controversial. You wait
Yeah.
for this question.
This is I started this in episode 1 or 2, and it survived the whole show. So every great fisherman loves a sandwich. What are your top 3 sandwich proteins? And I'm going to give you a minute. Hold on. I'm going to give you a minute to think, because as much as we like talk shit about the other side, this is the deciding factor on the brewskis. So,
Ooh. This hurts.
yeah. So by a minute to think, I meant like when I was talking, and then you got to go.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with catfish.
Oh shit, that's a first.
I'm gonna go with flathead catfish. Is
Number
flathead
1.
catfish with tomato and mayonnaise. Best
Okay.
fucking sandwich on the planet.
That's
Salami is
Yep.
following up with number 2, and I'm going to go. You can have your followers fight me over this. Pulled
Yes.
raccoon.
There we go. 2 first. We've never. I don't think since we started this and it got through 3 people. We've never had 2 first.
I'm telling
no,
you,
Clay
pulled raccoon. Don't fight me over it, but
He's
it's
opened
Alex,
up so many firsts.
Alex, you have to do a video of you eating a pulled raccoon sandwich.
So
I'll
here's
kill
the
it.
thing.
I'll ship it to you. I'll
When
send it to you in a
people-
box.
Listen, when people mention weird stuff, we had Jeffrey Holloway mention liverwurst. I'd never had fucking liverwurst before, right?
Cut. Nah, fuck that.
Yeah. And I still have to do a video, and it's going to be like a fake ass video, but 603 Bassam was talking about ham salad a couple months ago.
Pretty good.
No,
Ham
it's
salad's
fucking
pretty good.
disgusting. Nope, it tastes like.
Oh my god,
nope.
that's such a fucking northern.
Nope,
thing
it's a
to say.
greasy. That's why you've got a rabid raccoon brain. But if you send me up some raccoon, I will, I guess, put it on a sandwich and eat it. But these are firsts that are going to have to come out, and the only thing that I can say is that some of these firsts are disgusting, like the raccoon, but they are still not as bad as sane spinach.
If
Shout out to you, Bailey, at Serious Angling.
fucking Yikes, dude. If anybody told me their favorite sandwich protein was liverwurst, we'd be fighting on site immediately.
Hey,
I'd be like, dude, something's wrong with you, and I'm gonna have to eradicate. This is a fucking The Last of Us episode now, and we're gonna have to deal with this. That's a Woodline conversation for sure.
Liverwurst is what that. So you're saying that's what pushes your button. Liverwurst.
Listen, man. I've eaten pickled pig's feet out of the fucking
Delicious.
corner store on the ghetto market. Like, I've eaten nasty shit, quote unquote, out of some projects gas stations, and been like, holy fuck, this is one of the best things I've ever had. I feel like chicken livers get a bad rap. I feel like gizzards get a bad rap. Gizzards are fucking awesome.
Delicious ranch.
Oh my god, so good, right?
And it's got to be runny ranch. None of that thick shit. I want runny ranch.
You can't have thick ranch on. No. This isn't a fucking chicken wing at the goddamn bar. This is a
correct. Well,
this is real shit.
A chicken wing should never have ranch. It should have blue cheese.
We're gonna physically fist fight if you ever say that.
Listen, we're gonna fight in the green room because we're about ready to switch off. But Clay, thank you so much. One, you opened my eyes. I didn't know that we had nerd fishermen, outdoorsmen that were into Harry Potter like you are.
Yeah, man.
And thank you so much for coming on. It's awesome, dude.
It's been a blast, dude. It's been so much fun.
I dig it, man. And I mean, we're gonna have you on again. I think at this point we've got to. But I want you to kind of hang out for a minute. We do have. Like, these are getting more exaggerated at this point, right, Paul?
Yep.
What?
What a reply.
He's trying to do his little end it before.